the mention of India and Australia as part of the Quad group and how much they can further their plans there as a counterbalancing force in the region?
Well, I mean, India is its own question as far as defense is concerned. I mean, although, again, there are exercises with the U.S., with Australia, with Japan in different settings. Interestingly, I think watching the Japan-Australia relationship, I mean, we saw just this week again in this speech that Kishida gave to open the diet session, where he basically talked about the U.S.-Japan alliance as really fundamental to the international community, but then also basically spoke of the Japan-Australia relationship, and of course they just inked a landmark defense agreement that basically now the Australia-Japan relationship is almost becoming a quasi-alliance, much more even than before, and things are moving in that direction, and so we're going to maybe see deeper cooperation trilaterally between Japan, Australia, and the U.S. going forward. I mean, that may be something else to watch as well.
Tobias, I'm just wondering, in terms of U.S.-Japan policy, what does it look like we could achieve in 2022, realistically?
Well, I think, from the Japanese perspective, I think what they're really anxious about and really eager to hear more about is what exactly the Biden administration plans to do when it comes to U.S. re-engagement economically in the region. The region, economic integration has proceeded at a pace despite the fact that the U.S. left TPP back in 2017. Of course, RCEP just came into force. There's a growing list of countries that want to join CPTPP, and Japan is eagerly awaiting word from the U.S. what it will do to reengage. Of course, I think Kishida is going to come and say, why don't you rejoin CPTPP? That might be a heavy lift right now, given U.S. domestic politics. But that aside, I mean, we've heard from Biden administration officials about a forthcoming Indo-Pacific economic framework. I think the Japanese government is very eager to see what might be in that. And I think sometime in the coming weeks, we might start getting a sense of that. And maybe in the summit, there'll be some of the first outlines of that will be discussed between the two leaders. But I think, when you look at the economic agenda, I think the Japanese government is very anxious to see what it means when the U.S. says it wants to re-engage economically.